Hi guys, welcome back again. Season greetings to everyone. I just want to use this opportunity to say a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year in advance. It's going to be a great year for everyone. So guys, in today's video we'll be learning how to make this ruched bubu kaftan. If this is what you're interested in learning, kindly watch the video to the end, like, share, and most importantly guys, subscribe. So guys, let's get started. So guys, for this tutorial and this style illustration, I'll be working with this direct crepe. This is 3 yards of direct crepe, but I would advise that you can go for 3.5 or 4 yards. Okay, so I placed my fabric on fold because I'll be cutting the front and the back together. So I came down by 1 inch to establish my guideline for my horizontal and vertical measurements. So after cutting out the line, I'll be drafting this pattern on the wrong side of my fabric. So at this point, highlighting the chalk was a bit difficult, so I just want to urge or appeal to you guys to please just be attentive. Okay, the lines are not really so visible, but at least you can see and understand if you give your utmost concentration. Okay guys, so I'll go ahead and use my measuring tape to establish my neck width. The neck width I'm working with is 3 inches, and then the cut together from my center back to the full length of my sleeve is 25 inches. This is not a standard. You can go ahead and establish your own measurements as you want. Okay, the next thing we simply do guys is to establish our shoulder slope. So at this point I came down by 1 inch from the guideline or the shoulder line, as you can see, and I went ahead to link it to the neck width. Okay, so you can work between 1 inch to 1.5 inches for your shoulder slope, because this is a bubu kaftan. If it's a regular basic sleeve, you just come down by 1 inch. If it's bubu kaftan, you can work between 1 inch to 2 inches. Okay, so at this point I was still struggling to highlight so that at least you guys can see what I was doing. For the neck width, the back neck width I established on the pattern is 1.5 inches, and then I went ahead to create just the back neckline on the pattern. The sleeve opening on the fabric is 12 inches, but if you want it to be very elaborate as it is on the thumbnail, you can use between 14 inches to 15 inches. So for this particular tutorial, the sleeve opening is 12 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and link it to the shoulder slope. So I was just trying to highlight it so that you can see the demarcation on the pattern. So from that point I'll go in by 3 inches. Just go ahead and draft a curve. So this slope is between 2.5 inches to 3 inches. You can draw a straight line. You can go in by 3 inches and draft your curve. Okay, so to eliminate any sharp edge around that area. Okay, and then extend the lines down to the hem of the fabric depending on your full body length. For me, my full body length is 57 inches, or between 57 to 58 inches, but I added additional 3 inches so that by the time I establish my ruche or create the ruche effect, it will be around my full length. Okay, because if you work with the full length of your fabric, you might just end up getting a hanging dress when it is ruched. So I wasn't recording the cutting of the front neckline. So what I simply did here was to come down by 9 inches. I separated the back from the front. I came down by 9 inches and I created my sharp V neckline. Okay, so this is it for the front pattern. So what we'll simply do next is to go ahead and cut out the facing, which is very easy to do. Just place your fabric on fold. I told you I had 3 inches, so I didn't really have much fabric to create my facing. So you can use any fabric available of your choice, but ensure that it's not a stiff fabric. So I placed it on fold. As you can see, this is a crepe. I placed it on fold, and then I went ahead to draft the neckline for the front spacing. So at this point I had to stabilize the facing first, so that it won't be moving when I'm drafting the neckline on the pattern. Okay, so this is it for the front facing. I'll detach my main fabric and then draft the the facing on the front pattern. I hope you guys understand the point I'm trying to make. Okay, if you've been sewing, you understand the point. If you're a beginner, I'm sure by just me looking at what I'm doing, you understand the point I'm trying to make. So this is the back. The same thing we did for the front, we do for the back. You place your fabric on fold, then you place your back pattern on it. Ensure that you stabilize the fabric with your pins. Then go ahead and draft the back neckline on the pattern. You detach the main fabric and then create your facing. Facing usually not so big depending on the style illustration. It could be a short facing and it could also be a long facing. So it could be rectangular or it could be spherical. Whatever I'm doing is not a standard. It depends on the style that you want to create for your facing. So this is it for the front, and then we also have the back. Okay, so guys, at this point I was trying to ascertain that the neckline really fits, the facing really fits the neckline for both the front and the back. Okay, so I'll simply take this to my sewing machine and then stitch it. So this is the right side of my fabric. I always work with my pin, guys, pins. So I secured it with my pins and I'm going to be stitching it by 1/2 inch. Remember that when cutting on the fabric, I cut it out. I cut out the 1/2 inch for sewing. So the same thing applicable for the back. I'll go ahead, secure my pin and stitch it by 1/2 inch. Okay, so this is it. I've stitched it by 1/2 inch and I flipped it to the wrong side. What I'll simply do is to use my hemming gum to secure it, secure the facing to the fabric so that it won't be flipping up and down. Probably when you're trying to wear the dress, it will just be fixed on the dress. Okay, so I did it for the front and also for the back as well. So the next thing I did was to place my fabric on fold, the main fabric, after placing my facing, and then I created a crease line on the center front of the main, for the front, the front pattern. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is to establish the length of my ruche effect where the bias casing will be placed. Okay, so you could either make it from, create your ruche effect from the beginning, from the neckline down to the hem, but I didn't do mine from the neckline to the hem. I stopped midway, which is about a few inches below my waistline. So the bias casing is what I have on my working table, which is about 14 inches in length and then 3 inches in width. Then the other longer one, I'll be using it to create the strip for the ruches on the dress. So this is a strip. I've gone ahead to turn the strip, so I'll go ahead and place my bias casing on the fabric. So I'll be placing it at the back of my front pattern. So this is it here, which is the 14 inches fabric that I cut, and then three is about 3 inches in width. So I want the facing, this bias casing, to align with the back pattern. So I ensure that I place it with the wrong side facing upwards and then the right side facing the fabric. Okay, I hope you understand. So I'm going to be turning the lower part and the upper part, folding it by 1/2 inch. Okay, so what I'll simply do is to place this fabric, the right side facing the wrong side, the right side of the casing facing the wrong side of the front pattern. You notch the center point of this case. You know that we didn't place it on fold, I didn't iron it, so I needed to notch the center point and then place it directly on the crease line, which is the reason why we created this crease line. So the notched point is placed directly on the crease line, exactly where it's going to end. I told you that the ruche effect is going to stop few inches below my waistline, so which is about from the shoulder to the waist is about between 23 to 24 inches. So I'm going to secure it by 1/2 inch right on that point where I want the ruche effect to stop. So and then I'll go ahead, after securing it, I'll go ahead and attach my bias strip. As you can see, I secured it with my bias strip and then I flipped it up this way. I hope I'm making sense. While you're securing your bias casing, ensure that you also secure it alongside with your strip and then turn up the bias casing, as you can see. So at this point, I was using my pins to secure the bias casing. I ensured that the pin is on the crease line because I'm going to run a stitch on the center point, or on the center point of this front pattern, okay, the front pattern of this dress. So after ensuring that it is well aligned, ensuring that the pins are well positioned on the center, on the crease line, I'll take it to my sewing machine and run a stitch at the midpoint, the midline. Okay, so guys, after stitching the midline, as you can see, ensure that you fold both the lower and the upper part of this bias casing. I'll go ahead and insert the strip inside. As you can see, just follow the direction of my hand, or follow the direction on the video, and then while inserting the strip, I'll go ahead, I'll fold the side by few inches, either quarter of an inch, and then I'll stitch. Ensure that you don't stitch on the strip, okay, while folding the edges. So you fold the edges, insert the strip, fold the edges, and run the stitch by the side. So guys, you can see what we have here. I've been able to create the ruches, or the ruches on the dress. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like eventually when we join the front pattern to with the back. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to pull up the strip and loosen it at the same time. So I'm going to be placing a belt. This is strictly optional. You can choose to place a belt if you want to snatch. This is just I'm just adding this on my own. For those who would like to snatch the waistline, you can go ahead and place a belt which is 8 inches away from the center point of the which is 8 inches away from the crease line, or 8 inches from the center point of the dress, and then 18 inches from the shoulder line. Okay, I hope this is making sense. So I've gone ahead to attach my belt. So I'll simply join the back pattern to the front pattern, right sides facing each other. I'll go ahead and use my pins to secure the shoulder. I just like to make my stitches to be very neat. It's just something that I enjoy doing. So I like to work with my pins to ensure that it is properly aligned. If you can work without your pins, it's fine. It's not compulsory. So I'll secure with my pins first, and then go ahead and secure the shoulder. Join the shoulder by 1/2 inch. After joining the shoulder, I'll run the stitch from the armhole down to the hem. So at this point, at the hem, you can choose to fold by 1 inch if you actually weaved just like I did. But if not, guys, you can use a double fold to hem the lower part of the dress. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for watching to this point. Like and share if you find value for this video, and most importantly, guys, subscribe. We have other engaging tutorials on the channel. You can go ahead and watch. So guys, I'll see you in my next video. Have a blessed day and have a fun-filled Christmas. God bless you guys.